Hi, guys. I am so sorry, but I'm excited that I'm here. I was able to get StreamYard to work. So happy Wednesday. Thank you for joining me for another live at Mi Escuelita Online Academy. Today we're talking habits. Habits. So I have my notes here, right here, which is a good habit to have notes. Um, so let's see. Hold on a second. Sorry. So, making small changes to our daily habits can have significant and meaningful long term impact on our lives and those of our children. So, today we're talking habits. I'm going to share my screen. And while I do that, hashtag live if you're joining us live, or hashtag replay if you are joining us, seeing this at a later time. All right. Yes, we're live in the group. Awesome. And I am going to share this screen here with you. So, why is an online academy focusing on habits? Why should we as parents focus on habits? Joining us live. Ooh, let me lower that down. Hi. Hi, Monica. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. So here's my question. I always like to start off with a question. Why should we focus on habits? And, well, actually, here's a better question. We all know it's important, right? We all know that habits are important, that there's a lot of habits that we can and should instill in our children, but where do we actually start? So comment below. Where's a good place to start when it comes to teaching our children habits? It's hard, right? It's hard to think because there's so many things that we need to teach our children. It's like, where do we start? Um, there are certain habits that are kind of ingrained in us. So when it comes to focusing on habits and helping our children develop good habits, starting at a young age is a good place to start. Now, the reality is that most of these habits won't have a long-term effect, right? So we shouldn't obsess over like, oh my gosh, we didn't do it today. We didn't practice this habit today. We need to focus on what actually matters. What's going to make a big difference? And there are a few areas that are going to make a big difference. That areas that are really important that will make a big impact. And this is one of them. Your family. When you're thinking about habits and which habits you want to work on, choose your family's focus area. So, for example, one of my focus areas is my lovely daughter. I have 4 amazing kiddos, and our focus as a family is to spend quality time together. So, as a family, you need to identify what are your focus areas. What is your family's vision? What are your core values? What do you find important? What is important to you as a family? And that's going to be different for every family, right? So today I'm going to talk about 3 different areas, 3 different habits. The first one is healthy eating habits, good learning habits, and good money habits. Now, when it comes to healthy eating habits, let me see one second. Oh, again, you're going to think about what's important to your family. When it comes to learning habits, you're going to say, what's important to our family? What do we value as a family when it comes to learning? And when it comes to money habits, you're going to go back to that core. what's important to our family. What do we value as a family? So as you're setting these habits or deciding what habit you're going to focus on, always come back to your core. Always come back to your core. Come back to your family, friends. Okay, so there's research, and I'm trying to remember where I got this article. Where did I get this article? Was it another one from Education Weekly? I will put where I got this article down below in the comments. But this article said that there's two big strategies that you can implement in order to create that change. And the first one is to break down that habit into smaller habits. And then the second one is make the new habits stick. And we'll talk in detail about how do we actually do that. So let's take healthy eating habits. Okay, let's take that. And now remember, the first strategy was to break it down. So when it comes to breaking down that big habit of healthy habits, healthy eating habits, we could break it down into, well, maybe these next 2 weeks are really going to focus on eating more vegetables. And that's going to be what we're going to focus on as a family. Then maybe the following 2 weeks, you're going to add on meal prepping as a family. And then 2 weeks later, you're going to add drinking more water. So the strategy is when you have a big habit, something that a big goal, right? A big goal that you want to attain, that you're going to break it down into chunks, doable chunks. Let's look at another habit. So let's say the habit of hold on a quick second, of good money habits. Okay, so let's say that as a family, you've decided, okay, we're going to work on our money habits. Well, what does that mean? Well, we break it down into smaller pieces that, again, are important to you as a family, that go with your values and your core. So here's an example. So maybe as a family, you've decided that your children are going to earn money in some way, maybe by doing chores. And maybe you focus on that for the first 2 weeks, a month. And as a family, you create a system of how they're going to earn money. And you break that down. Then the next big step is tracking their money. You're going to work on that habit for a good 2-3 weeks. Now, it doesn't mean after the 2 or 3 weeks that they've got it. You're going to continue to practice that, right? Then maybe the next small habit under this big habit of money habits, of good money habits, is paying for what they want. Maybe you start teaching your children that they have to pay for what they want. Hi, Araceli. And you know what? This is actually really hard. So here in Arizona, that's where I'm from. That's where my family lives. We have this store. What is it called? Five Below. Five Below. And my kids love going to Five Below. And when we go, we say, okay, we'll buy you one item, but then if you want to buy another item, you need to purchase that yourself. And of course, they're like, oh, I want this, I want that. And then we remind them, okay, which one is mom and dad buying and which one are you buying? Then you see their eyes going like this, like, okay, what do I really want? Because they're realizing like, oh, I have to pay for that. And that's it. That's hard for them, but it's also hard for me because when we, like, for example, we got home this past weekend from going to Five Below, and my little one, my 6-year-old, she comes into the kitchen and she's looking at her wallet and she's like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here, Mom, this is for, what did she get? I don't even remember what she got at Five Below. And she gave me the $5. And I was like, oh, no, here, just keep. In my mind, I was like, just keep it where it's fine. But then I thought, no, we're creating a habit of good money habits. So, and it takes practice and it's hard, but you will reap the benefits and so will your children. Okay, so let's talk about that third habit, that third focus area. So remember, as a family, you're deciding based on your core, on your values, what are the big focus areas that you want to concentrate on as a family? So let's say one of them is their learning habits, and you want to instill in your children good learning habits, right? Well, how does that happen? What? Learn well, do well in school. Okay, well, what does that mean and how do we make that happen? Again, you break it down. So maybe the first couple of weeks you're working on setting a routine or a schedule that you're going to say, okay, every day we're at the end of the day, we're going to read a book. Every day from 9 to 10, we're going to focus on learning whatever it is that they're learning. Every day from 10 to 11, it's Spanish time. Every day from 11 to 12, it's Teacher M's online class. Whatever that routine is, right? You're going to set it in place and you're going to practice that. Okay, so let's say you've got that set. Well, then the next thing is possibly that you're going to make it fun and safe for them. Because the reality is when it comes to learning, kids will not learn if it's not fun. They're not going to learn if they don't feel safe. And just like the little kid is showing, they're not going to love learning if it's not fun or safe. So you want to make those activities, that whatever activity that they're doing to learn, you want to make it fun and safe. And you want to just practice that with them. Practice that language like, oh, we're learning, we're growing. It's okay to make mistakes. So you're making it safe. You're making it fun by introducing songs and movements and stories and laughter, things that they enjoy, hobbies and interests into their learning. Okay, so let's say you got that set and you keep reminding yourself, okay, let's make it fun for them. Let's make it safe for them. Then maybe the next habit that you're going to work on is maybe challenging them and setting that example of a growth mindset, that some of the things that they're going to do are going to be hard and that it's okay because we're learning, we're growing. But then look at the second word. It says wins. You don't want to make it so challenging that they can never be successful. Remember, it's a journey, step by step. So when it comes to habits, it's the same thing. You want it to be challenging, but that they're experiencing wins. Hi, Marilyn. Miss you, by the way. All right. So we're talking habits, and we said that one big strategy to cement habits is to break it down into smaller habits. Well, the second big strategy when it comes to habits is making the new habit stick through this formula. And let me see. It's actually from this really awesome book. It's called Atomic Habits by, I think it's by James Clear. But anyhow, he recommends these 4 components. When you're instilling habits in your children, you want it to be obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. So let's take the good eating habits and break that down. So if as a family, your core is we're going to eat healthy, well, you want to make it obvious. What does your pantry look like? What does your refrigerator look like? Is it full of healthy food, of healthy snacks? You want to make it obvious that healthy foods or good eating habits are a priority for your family. You want to make it attractive. You want to make it look like, wow, I want to eat that. You want to make it attractive. You want to make it easy. Oh, I love my mama. She lives in Mexico. She travels back and forth with my dad. And you know what she used to tell me? Cut your vegetables, cut your vegetables, cut your melon, cut your sandia. And I'm like, Mom. And she said, this way they'll eat it. And I'm like, and it's so true, friends, because I could leave a watermelon on my kitchen island and it'll sit there till it rots. But it doesn't, because we're a big family and we love to eat fruits and vegetables. But once it's cut up, boom, it's gone. It's like gone in 30 minutes. And I'm like, what happened to the watermelon? When you make a habit easy, it's more likely to stick. And here's his fourth step from his book is that you make it satisfying. And so what that can mean a lot of different things. So satisfying could be maybe you plant a garden with your kids. And then when they're actually picking the vegetables to make a soup or a salad, that's really satisfying because they grew that. Now, maybe you're like me and you live in Arizona and you're like, okay, hardly anything grows, or maybe my thumbs aren't as green as I would like them to be. Maybe you go to a farmer's market and have them help you pick out the vegetables, or go to the grocery store or make the grocery list. And when they come home with all those fruits and vegetables, it's a lot more satisfying when they're maybe helping to cook or arrange that food. Okay, here's another example, a learning example using those four strategies from that book, Atomic Habits, making it obvious when it comes to instilling good learning habits. You want to make it obvious because it's always on at a certain time. Like at mi escuelita, our classes are always at a certain time. It doesn't change all the time. It's always at a certain time. Our core classes, right? Maybe you have it on your calendar. Maybe you set your alarm. I don't want to say her name too loud, on Alexa. And it's obvious, like, hey, it's class time. And it becomes like a routine, right? And you make it attractive. So like at Mi Escuelita, we make learning attractive because we have games and songs and movement and really fun activities. Then you make it easy. So when you want to make something a learning habit easy, there's a lot of different ways. And of course, at Mi Escuelita, we can support you with that, because we're certified teachers that study learning all the time. So we make sure that when students are learning with us, we make it challenging but easy so that they're successful. And then, of course, satisfying. When students learn new habits and they're praised and recognized for learning and for growing and for trying, they feel good. They feel happy. They're satisfied with that practice. Now, I want you to remember this. Habits are a journey. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one small step. Habits don't cement over in a moment. They're not easy. It's a journey. It's a journey. It's not a race. It's not a destination. It's a journey. Why habits? When our children have good habits, they will have a good life. Identify your focus as a family. Decide as a family what's important. What do you value? At the core, what is important? Is it good eating health? A good eating habits? Is it good money habits? Is it good learning habits? Whatever that is, identify that focus. Break down the habit, the big habit, into smaller little habits. Then make it obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. Oh, sorry, guys, my dog. Hold on, let me let him out. And then practice them daily, weekly, until they're ingrained, and keep them up. Because remember, good habits lead to a good life. So, friends, if you haven't had the opportunity to book a call for our summer reading program, do it today because our summer reading program starts in 3 weeks. Can you imagine your child joining a program where we break down the habit of reading in a routine, scheduled manner, very fun and safe, where yes, it will be challenging, but they are going to have huge wins, huge gains. Learning to read in 8 weeks in our reading program, it is absolutely doable. And that is what our summer program is all about, is working with families to support their child's learning habits. So if you haven't signed up for a call with me so we can work together to find out how we can support your child to create a student success plan, do it today. Friends, thank you so much for joining me in the live. I hope you're having a beautiful Wednesday, and we'll see you here next week at Mi Escuelita Live.